Hello, everybody who's coming into the webinar right now. We will begin in about a minute, just waiting for the number of attendees to sort of settle down, and we will get started shortly. Hi, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our workshop. My name is Eric Zuniga. I'm the Drought Response Program Manager for the State Water Board's Division of Drinking Water. And I just wanted to thank you all for joining today. Our goal today is to introduce you to a simpler and more secure way, a safer way, if you will, to access your water data through the Safer Clearinghouse. In order to get started, I'm going to start sharing the screen. Elliot, if you could please start, and we will get going. Excellent. So here's our this is going to be a short presentation, and it is meant to be interactive. So those of you who are on your cell phone might eventually want to migrate over to being on a computer so that you can complete the login portion of this. And really our goal is that by the end, everybody's going to be very familiar with how to log in, how to generate their WBKey login, and how to utilize the new login method by the end of this webinar. So that's our goal. But in the technology world, as you know, many things that we plan don't go the way that we want. So we are hoping for the best, but expecting it anywhere in between. But again, thank you all for your time, and we will move on to the next slide because we have a poll question for everybody just to get started. We want to know who you are. We want to know who's out there. Um, so please take a moment to select the role that best matches what your role is, and we'll give you guys about 30 seconds to answer once we start the poll. So Wendy, if you could please, we're looking for water system staff, either your manager, operator, part of a water system, which I believe might be the majority of you, or you might be state or county regulating agency staff, perhaps working for the state or for the county, or perhaps a technical consultant or a contractor, someone working on behalf of a water system, on behalf of the state even. We also have some groundwater sustainability agencies interested in some of the data that we have in the clearinghouse, or other, maybe we didn't capture where you are. If we could please launch that first poll, and we will get that started. There it is. I'll give you all about 30 seconds to get started. Okay, really, this is just like an attendance question because everybody knows who they are. It's not a trick question, and thankfully, it looks like about we have about 90% participation in about 45 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and close. Let's close the poll at 1 minute, and uh, and we will be done. About 84% our water system staff, we about 7% regulating staff, and everybody else kind of filters in on the other three categories. So definitely the vast majority are water system staff. So um, we can close that poll. Um, and let's go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so some of the jargon that you might hear today, some potentially new terms that you might hear. I want to quickly define them in plain language so we all kind of know what we're talking about. So WBKey is just the kind of like the brand name. It's just the name of our new system of logging in that we have. So just think about it as like a digital passport. You know, if you wanted to go to another country, any country really, once you have a passport, that indicates your identity as part of a certain country and allows you to enter many different countries, or for at least for them to know your identity and decide whether they want you to enter that country. So think of it as a digital passport of sorts, specifically for water boards applications. And MFA stands for multi-factor authentication, is just a quick extra security check. So kind of like getting a code on your phone. Many of you that do any banking online know that codes on the phone's pretty common practice nowadays. So that's what it is. It's a multi-factor. It's not just one factor, which would be your password. It's a multi-factor, a second extra security check, a second way of verifying your identity. And single sign-on is another terminology we use. Single sign-on, which is our future goal, which is going to be very convenient for most of the water system staff here that have to report not just to the clearinghouse, and not just to DDW, but across the water boards to many different applications. And we're getting tired of different usernames and passwords. So it's our future goal is one passport gets you access to many, many different websites with just one. Next slide, please, Elliot. So, why are we here? Why are we making this change? Why change something that obviously has been working since the beginning of the clearinghouse? It comes down to two key benefits. One of them is better security. We live in a world where water systems are getting hacked. I never knew that would happen. Water systems are getting hacked, sometimes by bad actors within our country, sometimes by government entities outside of our country. Cyber hacking, phishing attempts. Things are happening more and more before that require higher security. And the more important an application is, if it's housed at the state or even housed at your water system, the more important a system is, the more likely it is that it'll be a target of an attack. And so better security is just something we're always trying to be more secure and have more security. So better security to protect you, to protect your reputation, to protect your data, to protect our data systems. And then also there's future convenience, right? Making things easier, making things simpler. Maybe complex in the short term, but in the long run should make things more streamlined and more simple. So our goal here really is to create one secure modern login that will eventually get you into every waterboard portal that you ever needed. Next slide, please. Let's show a picture's worth 1,000 words here. Let's show what's changing. So this is the old login screen on the left that you might be used to. As you can tell, it was pretty Spartan. Not a lot of text in there, not a lot of imagery, still not a lot of imagery now in the new one, but we at least tell you what it is that you're logging into. Now, the Safer Clearinghouse is used for many things, not just water system reporting. So we had to compile just like a combined list of everything that it does and try to put it all together in one. But there's some helpful links on there too, links to our drought reporting website, our quick reference guide, um, and information about what the Safer Clearinghouse does, so that you know that you're in the right place at least. So it'll let you know that. So that's the Welcome to Safer Clearinghouse new login page that you will see starting tomorrow. So 10/10 is the date when we are launching this. So that's so the right side, you'll see that we have that text on the left, and then you'll also see on the right side we have a login button, very clear to understand. That's where you go to log in, and it's a button now that sends you to our WBKey login. And then the second button, which is new users must request access. So if you are new to the clearinghouse, have never requested an account, you'll be asked to go through that request access button in order to request access, and that will also go through the WBKey process now. So a lot of changes behind the scenes, some forward-facing changes that you will see, but mostly are really invisible. That's probably the main thing that you're going to see. Okay, next slide, please. Let's look at a timeline that we have. So today is the WBKey workshop. Today is September 9th. The launch of WBKey initially is going to start tomorrow. Now, I've listed urban retail suppliers should have a WBKey account by September 30th. All community water systems and non-transient, non-community schools should have their account by the end of October, and all public water systems by the end of December, by the end of the year. We're talking about transient water systems, other non-school, non-transient, non-community systems. And now we're doing this because we're doing a targeted effort to make sure that these entities have a WBKey by that date. What happens if you don't do it? Well, if you don't have it by those dates are specifically picked because that's when your reports are due. So you're going to need a new WBKey login before your next report is due. So we picked this date very strategically to allow urbans, 20 days to create their WBKey and do their reporting as normal, to allow for, the end of October for community systems, non-transient, non-community schools to do their login, and then for everybody else, which are thousands of systems still, for all public water systems to start or to get their WBKey login created as we start the AIR process for the 2025 AR that starts in January 1st, 2026. So it's coming out in phases, but again, if you are a transient system attending this meeting and you want to start today, well, today hopefully everybody has a WBKey, but tomorrow it'll be live in production. You can start then. If you are one of those systems, you're not an urban, you can certainly start early, and we highly encourage that just in case things happen and we need to help you through whatever problems that you have. So again, the call here, the intent of this call is to get everybody to obtain their WBKey login by the end of the workshop, if everything goes well. Next slide, please. So let's talk about what is WBKey. So we talked about WBKey being the digital passport, that it's your single secure identity for the water boards. So it's going to prove that you are who you say you are by not only asking you for some information, which in most cases is a username and password, but also asking, do you have something else that belongs to you that can verify your identity? And there's various ways that we can do that. We can send you an email. Well, certainly someone is in control of their password, mentally maybe, but they're also in control of their email. Maybe they're in control of their phone. Maybe they're in control of a smart app on their phone. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but there's multiple ways to verify identity. We're just looking for two ways to verify the identity: the initial password and some additional information that we'll talk about soon. So it proves who you say you are, and it keeps your account safe from other people accessing your account. The WBKey login is intended one person per login. So we don't want people sharing passwords. That's not going to be possible. We want one person per login associated with the permissions of that person. Generic logins don't work very well for that process, and you'll see as we get further into it. And then you'll use the same password for Safer Clearinghouse now. But there are other portals that currently use WBKey. I saw a quick question that popped up about the lead service line inventory. Lead service line inventory already uses WBKey. So if you've already set up your WBKey through that, we're going to utilize the same WBKey process to access the Safer Clearinghouse. And other portals like the EAR will also be set up for WBKey later. So what you're doing now, either you've already done it and it's going to help you, or it's going to help you for future logins through other portals as well. Next slide, please. And we have poll question number 2. Wendy, get ready. what is WBKey? So based on what we just discussed, let's see if everybody understands what is the best way to think of your new WBKey login. Is it A, new password for the safer website only? Is it B, a digital passport that will eventually work for all Waterboard's websites? C, a temporary login for today's training session? D, I'm not quite sure yet. You guys are too good. Very good, very good. We're about 30 seconds in and we have about 86% responded. And it looks like most everybody's starting to understand the concept of WBKey and why we're doing it. And that's certainly going to help in the next portions of it when we talk about actually how to get our WBKey. We can go ahead and close that poll, Wendy, and share that out. And let's go on to the next slide, which is getting your WBKey. So in order to get your WBKey, if you don't have one already, it's a simple three-step process. So we're going to walk everyone through these basic steps on how to create your digital passport. So first, we're going to verify your email. You know, an email is a really crucial part of WBKey because WBKey requires an email to connect to because that is your username. So we're not having special usernames. It's simply your email. And those of you who've been in the clearinghouse before already know that is how we use your account name as your email. So we're going to verify that your email is accurate. You'd be surprised how many people mistype their emails. So verifying that your email is correct is that first part, is making sure that email is accurate. Number two, creating a strong password. Now, there's many types of passwords on the internet. I just typed one yesterday for a Wi-Fi that was ABCDE 12345. And as insecure as that is some people's bank account passwords. That's terrible. Create a strong password. So we have some password requirements. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And you're going to set a new secure password for your WBKey. It's going to be more complex than what you have now in the clearinghouse. Therefore, all clearinghouse passwords are going to be reset in order for us to create a strong password. Now, the good news is that new password will not have to be changed periodically or changed unless you feel the need to change it because we have this multi-factor authentication. It's going to be strong and it's going to be backed up with multi-factor authentication. And it's going to be the same password for all Waterboard sites. So that's the good news on that. Number three is you're going to set up a security check. So the security check is our security questions, things that only you would know. And you'll set up your preferred method for that security step. So that security check is multi-factor backed up by these security questions. So kind of two things part of that security check. And that's it. It's really those three steps. And our team is going to be here to help you through each step during our live Q&A session, where hopefully if you run into any issues, you can reach out to one of us and we will help you through that. Okay, next slide, and we're going to get to the nitty gritty. We're going to find out who you are. So this next part is very important. To get you to the right instructions, I'm going to go through three sets of instructions, and you need to know who you are in order to know when to pay attention, right? First, we need to find your correct starting point. So read those three descriptions on the screen. One of them is the newbie, the second is the veteran, and the third is the pro. So the newbie, I have never ever used the Safer Clearinghouse before. This is my very first time. I've never requested access to it. There's certainly some people that might have found themselves in here that do not have an account and have not created a Safer Clearinghouse account. So the Safer Clearinghouse does not know who you are and therefore does not know whether they should grant you access or not. And so there's a different path that that person has to take. So if you have a coworker that might need to, or someone that's transitioning to the role that might need a Safer Clearinghouse, this is going to be potentially for them if you already have a Safer Clearinghouse. Number two, the veteran. I have used the Safer Clearinghouse before, but I have not used WBKey before. This is, I believe, the majority of folks have not used WBKey before. Um, so I believe a lot of folks are going to be in this category. So you've used it, Safer Clearinghouse, you've been reporting faithfully, and now this new login is going to come in and change things for you. That's probably where your section is going to be. And then lastly, we have the Pro. I already used WBKey for another website like the lead service line inventory portal. I've already created it. I'm just waiting for you guys to release it so I can just go on about my day and nothing much is going to change for me. So please, we're gonna launch this next poll number 3, and I call it the triage. So now that you've seen these 3 paths, which starting point is yours, and this is going to help us prepare for how to help you best. So path A, I'm a newcomer, brand new to Safer, never created an account before, never requested an account. I am path B, a veteran. I have used Safer before. I've successfully logged into Safer just fine. And now I'm trying to get my WBKey account set up. Path C, I'm a pro. I already have a WBKey account from elsewhere, and I'm just waiting for you guys to launch it so I can continue using it as normal. And D, I am not sure which path to choose. I'm a little lost. And that's okay too. Okay, I see the answers coming in. Most everybody knows who they are. A lot of veterans out there. Thank you guys for reporting. Some newbies, though, counting about 41 people that have never created a Safer Clearinghouse account. Welcome. Also glad to have you on board, and hopefully your new process of requesting an account is more streamlined than even our previous one was, and I actually think it is. We got 84 pros too. So yeah, let's end that, share that around. Very nice. So yeah, definitely a lot of veterans, some pros and a few newbies and some people that are still not sure. Hopefully we will answer all your questions by the end of these paths. Okay, going to the next slide. I have never used a Safer Clearinghouse. This is my first time. This section is for the newcomers, for the newbies. For those of you who've never used a Safer Clearinghouse, we're going to go through this slide by slide. So next slide is request access. You're going to click on the new users must request access button. Now, I'm going to give you guys a training link at the end of this and then we'll do this walkthrough again. So hopefully everybody feels confident going through this process. So we'll give you a special link where you'll be able to do that. In fact, if I could have Matthew, if you could get me the link to the training site and maybe put it in the Q&A and put it in there, that might be a good way to do it. But then I'll also share it at the end just for those folks that want to jump on it and want to start either creating their account if they're a newbie, or start going through the process of WBKey. Maybe you're faster than me, or want to check to see if they already have access and they're a pro. So we're going to put a training site on there. It's going to be WBAPPSRV, and just like the regular website, but it's going to have a dash training right after that, .waterboards.ca.gov. So we're going to put those that in there, and hopefully you guys can see that in the Q&A. And if it doesn't work, don't worry. At the end, we'll be able to share that to everybody so we can all walk through these together. So you're going to click on New Users Must Request Access. And then next page, it's going to bring you to select your user account type. And for the majority of you, based on the poll questions, the majority of you, it's going to say water system. So water system is the way we're going to select that user account type. And that's going to be the majority of you. Maybe a handful of you are consultants on behalf of a water system. If you're a water system operator, let's say you're a consultant or a water system operator, but you're doing reporting on behalf of a water system, I would also select water system. If you're a county service area and you think you're a county regulator, well, put yourself as a water system. You know, same thing for other similar entities out there. So water system is typically the main thing. If you want to report on behalf of water system, then you're probably in the water system role, and we'll do some vetting of you after. Next slide, we're going to do a verification of your email. This is where you enter your work email, hopefully with no errors, no misspellings, and you're going to press request verification code. This is going to send an email to your work email, and it's going to give you a code. And that code you're going to then put right there under verification code. You're going to put that verification code and press the submit button in order to get that work email validated. In the past, we had a little bit of a roundabout way of verifying. You had to actually submit your requests, and then you could do the verification code. But this is going to be a lot simpler because you won't even be able to move on and fill out a whole report until your email has been verified. Now, some of you may see the email show up in your spam. Some of you may have filters at work set up to avoid spam or phishing that may be blocking some of these emails. So you may need to talk to your IT person to make sure that those things aren't taken out. So whatever the case may be, it's supposed to be sent to your work email and you should be able to find it there. And if you have any issues with that, obviously reach out. But this is a super crucial first step. Next one is to create a secure password. And here's where we're going to talk about some of the password requirements. Um, by the way, the link to the URL for the training is there. However, we couldn't add it as a question, so we had to add it as an answer to one of the questions. So if you look at one of the more recent answered questions, the website does appear there, so you will be able to see that. So hopefully that is helpful. But so hopefully you're able to see it. If not, we'll hold on and I'll spell it out for you guys so you guys can have it. So create a secure password. So these are the new requirements for the password. One uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, and at least one special character. And I believe there's one more requirement that I don't think ended up on here, which is 15 characters. I believe that is also another requirement. So if you run into any issues, there are those five, I believe, requirements. I think we missed one there. So yeah, 15 characters long. So it's going to be longer than probably your normal password. It's going to have more things on it than your normal password, but this is going to be industry standard, the most secure password that we could do that you could probably still remember. Okay, next slide, please. Create your account. So you're going to see these fields are the same that we've always had at the clearinghouse. First name, last name, job title, organization, and most importantly, at the very bottom, it's going to have account linked water systems, which is the list of water systems that you want to have access to. So this is how you create your account in the clearinghouse currently. So after those first couple of steps, it's going to take you to the regular account creation screen where you can fill out your information and you can submit this for approval. Next step. So some of you that may have a pending account that has not been granted access yet. Next slide, please. And some of you may create an account and be expecting to get that approval. You're going to see an error screen. Now, error is not an error in our behalf. The error is the clearinghouse that does not recognize that your access has been granted. So the error is you do not have access to the Safer Clearinghouse or your account is still pending access. So please submit a ticket through the help request form for further assistance. It does take a couple of business days for us to get through those requests. We go through our CIDWIS contacts, make sure your contacts match what we have in our database, our contact database. So don't submit a help request right away. Wait a little bit for us to actually go through that process and approve your account. But then if it's taking a couple of weeks, you might want to use the help request form to make sure that your account, see if there's any issues with your account as is. So that's a message that you might receive if you have a pending account or an unapproved account or even a denied or deactivated account that for some reason was deactivated or denied. And you can certainly reach out about those as well. Okay, next path. This section is for our veterans. The vast majority of you, I think it was about 80% of you. For those that have used the Safer Clearinghouse before but are new to WBKey, and your process is much simpler. From the login page, you'll be taken to the WBKey screen, and you'll enter the same email that you've always used for Safer. So let's go to the next slide for that one. And so because it's the same email you use for Safer, you just enter it into the WBKey screen. Next screen, Elliot. So you'll just put your email address right there. And then on your, oh, actually, this is a video. Let's watch the video then. I'll narrate it. So here's where you put in your email address. Just going to walk you through the steps. You're going to press continue. Now it's going to ask you for your password. You're going to be tempted to put in your safer clearinghouse password, but instead you're going to click on forgot password. So when pressing continue, it's going to email a verification code to your email. You saw it on the right, and that verification code is then going into that code right there. And once you enter that verification code, it then asks you to create a new password and then click continue. And there's an article there for password requirements as well. And here's the key. You have to select your multi-factor authentication method. So either you want to use a smartphone app on your smartphone, or you want a phone call, or you want a text message, or you want an email. Different folks prefer different things. In this walkthrough, they are going to use the authentication method using a smart app. So we're actually showing you how to download either on Android or on Apple, downloading something like the Microsoft Authenticator app, which is what we use for work. You download the app. They're showing you how to find it on the Apple App Store, and then you're going to download the Microsoft Authenticator, and then you launch it. And then you do some quick setup. You don't have to necessarily create a Microsoft account in order to access the Microsoft Authenticator. So I think there's a portion there right there. It says skip, so you're gonna want to skip it. Um, and then you're going to scan this QR code. So it's going to use your phone camera, and then you're going to scan the QR code that's provided for you on the screen. And that QR code is going to sync up your login with that authenticator. So the authenticator is now going to show a code. That code resets every few seconds, and you have that amount of seconds to input that code into the screen in order to go in. The very first time you log in, you'll be asked to review and accept the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. And that's all legalities to get you in. You'll also be asked to fill in your 3 security questions that you need to secure your account. So if you lose your phone, or you get locked out of your email and you have to delete your email, anything like that happens, or you lose access to your smartphone, that you can use these security questions to reset your MFA and put it on a new device, or use a new phone number or something like that. So you're going to use security questions for that reason. And it looks like this video has finished. So we thought that that would be a helpful video. This video is available on the WBKey site. So there's actually a button at the very beginning that says learn more about WBKey. So for initial WBKey accounts that have already logged into our portals before, they have a special walkthrough just for you guys to see what that looks like. So that was it in a nutshell for the veterans account and how to do that. So we didn't have to do that in screenshots. We actually had a video for you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I already used WBKey for another website, like the LED service line inventory portal. Yes, this is our pros path. And this path is for anyone who already uses WBKey for another portal. And your process is by far the easiest. You'll simply log in with your existing WBKey email and password, complete your usual security check. And since this is the first time that you're using WBKey for the Safer Portal, you'll still have to, if you've never used a Safer Portal before, you'll still have to request access, await approval to link your account. But those that have already accessed the Safer before, already have a WBKey account, it'll be a very, very simple process. So going on to the next slide, you'll see WBKey account sign in. There's the email address where you enter that there. On the bottom, it says learn more about WBKey. So if you have any questions about how WBKey works, there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of frequently asked questions, a lot of information on that webpage that are help and support for WBKey. So it's very robust documentation there that you'll find. Next slide is to enter your password. And of course, the link on the right is if you forgot your password, you can always click on that to reset it and create a new password with those password requirements. And then the next slide is your MFA option. So I'm going to go into more detail about what this looks like. So you have your MFA option, which is if it sends something to your email, then this is what that looks like. We already showed you what the MF, like having your smartphone and having a code show up on your smartphone, what that looks like. We already showed that one. This is what your email one looks like. So it's going to say, hey, I'm going to send something to your email. Do you want me to send it? Continue, right? So you press continue, and on the very bottom it says reset. So that's where you would reset it. Hey, I don't have access to my email anymore. Well, you would do the reset and go through the security questions. So let's go to continue, and we'll go to the next slide. And this is where you input, you find your email, you find the verification code that is within your email, and then you use that to go into the verification code box there. Verifying gives you access to the portal, as long as you've already previously been granted access. Next slide, please. And this is the choose text or voice call option. So if you chose phone as being your authentication method, you can actually choose whether to use SMS, which is text messaging, or you can use a phone call. You can actually get a vocal phone call that speaks a code to you, and that you can enter that code once you receive that phone call. You get that code and you can type that in. So either method that is available to you. Though, so there's some phones that don't receive text messaging, so we had the voice call feature. Some people have landlines that don't have text messaging features as well. Voice call is a great option for you. And then the last one, I'm just showing how to reset the MFA. If you try to reset your MFA, it's going to ask you the security questions you had at the beginning. It'll ask you the security questions, and once you enter those in, it'll grant you access to be able to change your multi-factor authentication security method. Okay, and then you briefly saw it in the video, but the very, very first login, so regardless of which path you took, everybody has a one-time setup experience the very first time that they log in to WBKey. So you'll be asked to choose your preferred method for your MFA. So the next slide shows what that looks like. I'm going to show it a little slower because the video was a little fast. So you get to choose authentication app, you get to choose phone, or you get to choose email. Those are the three options. We had initially only had an authenticator and a physical dongle as an option. Phone and email were not an option. And so thankfully, DIT was able to work with us to get these other options there for your use. And I believe it's going to be way more robust and more helpful for folks to be able to use that to log in. Next slide, we are going to accept the terms and conditions, or we click on the box to accept the terms and conditions. And lastly, next one is to select your security questions. And this is where you answer your security questions for the first time. Wendy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I think we need to clarify. We're getting a lot of questions about using one login for an organization, and that this is getting rid of that, and that everybody needs to have a separate login for MFA.
Yes, I'm aware that there are some centralized logins, like someone will have a login for, general manager of mutual water company, or they'll have like, clearinghouse reporting. And I've seen a couple of those come through, and we've kind of allowed some of them. But technically, your email address should be linked to a person. So, like, let's say you're a secretary and you're using a generic account like that for the office. That's okay, but only that secretary is going to be able to do the multi-factor authentication through their smartphone, through the email, through their personal phone number, or their work phone number. So it's going to lock them into a person. So my advice to everybody is to utilize a separate email if you are a separate person. So every person should have their own separate credentials. That is what we're talking about. Security is to verify your identity. Verify that the person logging in is the person doing the work. So imagine if you log in and you say, hey, someone edited my report, and it says, so-and-so water system edited your report. Well, that's not telling you who it was, right? That's not verifying to you who actually made that change. And if you have a couple people working on your reports, you're going to want to know who's doing the changes. So it's just, more of that security. And again, if you have three people and we need to grant three people access to the same water system, we can totally do that. You can have multiple credentials, multiple people logging in, having the exact same permissions to access the same reports. So that's not a problem for us on our end, but we do prefer that to sharing logins because it's going to get very complicated with this WBKey. It's not going to allow that anymore. So no, that might be a change for some. You may have to delegate that one account to one person, and the rest will have to create a separate login. So hopefully that answers the question. Okay, moving on to poll question number 4. All right, are we ready? This is our readiness check. Before we do this in a practice environment, let's see how everyone's feeling. Please answer the quick poll on your screen. How are you feeling about creating your WBKey account? A, I feel ready and confident. I'm ready to do this. B, I'm a little nervous, but ready to try. Or C, I expect that I will need some help, maybe substantial help. Across the board, we've got a lot of answers already. Um, I find that the more you hesitate, the more likely you're going to be B or C, is what I'm seeing. But yeah, we do have a lot. It's perfectly normal to be a little nervous or expect that you're going to need some help. And that's exactly why we're here today. We didn't want to push this on anybody without providing adequate resources, adequate warning, adequate heads up, adequate training. We want to give people a heads up and a leg up on the competition to really get on board sooner rather than later, so you guys can be we can be proactive instead of reactive. So we do have quite a few. 87 people are nervous, and 26 people expect that they'll need help. So that's quite a lot of people. So we are going to help you. Never fear. Okay, moving on to the one of the last slides that we have here, which is our live Q&A. Well, really is a live demo, or is really live getting you through this process. So here is the link. If you didn't see the link in the Q&A, here's the link now. So you'll see it's WBAPPSRV. That's for Waterboard's application server, I think. Dash training. So very similar. Our production one doesn't have the dash training. This one does. .waterboards.ca.gov. And when you click that, it's going to go to a special site that we have that's a training site. Super important. Do not use this for reporting. We will not see your reports. Your reports will get deleted. Your username information may get deleted. We refresh this thing from time to time. We only use this for training. It is not intended for production. So this is just a preview of what's going to happen tomorrow in production, of what it's going to look like tomorrow. But there, you're going to see the new login page. You're going to see the new login button, and you're going to be able to create your WBKey account. So go ahead and type that into your browser, and you're gonna be walked through those processes that we just shared with you. Those of you that are having issues, of course, we encourage everybody to use the live Q&A box to be able to share what issues that they're having. You have the ability to vote up. If you see someone that has your questions, your same questions that you have, rather than putting another Q&A, because we have 16 questions right now, rather than putting a 17th question or an 18th question, vote up someone that already has the same question that you have. That's going to really streamline and help us get to more people and more questions more often. But of course, after the end of this call, if we still have Q&As that haven't been answered, we will continue to answer them, and we'll email folks the answers to those questions. And we'll do that. And if you're still having WBKey issues and you didn't get a chance to ask a question here, we have our form, right? Our help request form allows us to triage these requests, send them to the different people that can help track who's responding, who's not responding, whose question has not been responded to. And we have that help request form for that reason. And there's that short link that allows you to do that. That link will also be on the front page as of tomorrow. It'll be on the front page of the Safer Clearinghouse. So if you're having any login issues, it'll be on that login page. And then, of course, we have our drought and conservation reporting website. I'm going to post the recorded version of this training onto that website as soon as it is available. I'm going to post it on there so that you can view that recorded training. And for a short time, this recording is going to be available in a link as a banner link on the front page of the website as well. So just in case you missed it, you'll be able to go through it and maybe slow me down a little bit. I heard I talk very fast, so you can probably slow me down, or you can speed it up if you're a pro and you want to get to the part that you're at. So hopefully that gets us started. And the next slide is just telling us, hey, let's do this. Let's log in. Let's um, see if we can get everybody on board. So I'm going to reiterate the steps and find out where that one is. So I'm going to go um, back to my instructions for veterans. So just to reiterate, we're going to go to the login page for that link that I showed. In fact, Elliot, let's keep it on that link just in case someone didn't get it. Let's go back one slide and let's just keep it on that link. So that's the https:// WBAPPSRV training.waterboards.ca.gov. Do not save it to your bookmarks. It's just for this training. Just to give you a heads up. And even though we don't use that for production, the WBKey is live. And therefore, when you log in tomorrow and onward into the production server, it's going to say, "Oh, you've already done your WBKey. You're fine." So you're going to be at pro level if you've successfully gotten to that point. So first thing, you go to the login screen and you enter your email address. The second thing is you're going to have to reset your password. You're going to have to click on forgot password in order to create your super secure password. So forget password is going to verify your email. It's going to help you create the password. And then the last step is you're going to create those 3 security questions, things that only you will know. And then you're going to set up your MFA as well. I think it's actually the MFA first. Whether you want to do a smart app on your phone, which is honestly for me super simple. We use it every day, probably multiple times a day for logging into our Microsoft accounts for our waterboards computers. That's what we use now. So we've already been doing this for probably since the pandemic. We've been using that authenticator. But there are other authenticators available. If you want to use a Google authenticator or another similar type of authenticator, you can link it as long as it can scan that QR code. You're good. You don't have to use Microsoft if you don't like them or you don't want to use that. So you can do the smart app. You can do a text message or a phone call. Or you can do the email method, which some people are more familiar with. But again, emails, maybe they get caught in your spam. Maybe you don't want to use that. Maybe you want to use text instead because text still like allows a lot of spam. I can check on my phone. I can see a lot of spam there already. Okay, I'm going to take this time since this is Q&A to kind of look at some of the questions that we might be having and see what we might have here. Okay. One question, is this the same authenticator app we use to access the lead service line list? Other people wondering the same thing. Yeah, so the app that you use, like whatever app's on your phone, does not have to be, does have to be the same one that you use for all WBKey logins, but it doesn't have to be the same one we use, right? It doesn't have to be Microsoft Authenticator, like I mentioned. It could be the Google Authenticator. I think there's a handful of other ones out there. So it might not be the same app, but the WBKey login process is the same. So if you successfully logged into the lead service line inventory, and it asks you for a secondary password from a smartphone app, then you have likely already set up WBKey, and it is the exact same thing. The way to test that, go to the training site. Go to the training site, try to log in, put in your email address that you have already set up for WBKey. Hopefully it's the same one that's already in the Safer Clearinghouse, and then it should send you an authentication method, and it should allow you to put in that code. And if that is true, then you have successfully logged in. So hopefully that's good. Those are answered questions. So let me go into the unanswered questions. How do you reset your security questions? So I'm going to scroll over to one of my slides, I have reset multi-factor authentication. This is slide 24, and slide 24 basically says when it sends you when it's saying, "Hey, can I send you a verification code?" and you're like, "Oh shoot, that email was locked. I lost it. I have no access to it anymore. I'm not going to be able to access it." there's a little reset button on the bottom that says reset multi-factor authentication. When you click on that, it's going to verify, I believe it will verify your email, and it's going to ask you your security questions. With those, it will allow you to then reset your multi-factor authentication. It'll then ask you again, do you want to use an app? Do you want to use your phone? Or do you want to use your text message? So those are the three things that you have options for. If you need to reset, that is the method that you do that. And there's walkthroughs on how to reset. So if you ever do get lost and you can't find this recording or anything, the WBKey, you just search WBKey on Google now, and it probably shows up first or second. And then it'll walk you through how to reset your account. So hopefully that makes sense for folks. Okay, so I answered that one live, and I'm clearing that one. Question from Steve: are we going to be able to discuss shortcomings of the site itself? Steve, so such questions are better utilized in the help request form. So if you have specific issues with certain parts of the website, certain slowdowns of the website, some of you have maybe experienced the source reporting tab of the website has gotten a drastic overhaul in performance, and it now loads very smooth like butter. But other parts of the website are slow like molasses. And so we need to know about that. If you're experiencing any issues or have any issues with the site or shortcomings, please do report those. We review all of them and we look at all of them and we collect them feedback. And it takes some time to implement some of them, but we do collect that feedback. So hopefully that helps. Question from Victoria. I submitted the lead service line inventory, but I'm not sure what the key is. Should I just start over? Okay. The key. Okay, so you submitted a lead service line inventory. So Victoria, um, it's possible that one of our staff, maybe Alex or Debbie, if one of you could look up Victoria's email for Safer, and maybe we can give that to her, and then she can try to log in with her Safer Clearinghouse email. And I'm not sure if you lost your password or if you lost your security key. So I'm not really sure what part of that is, but you should be able to log in. And if you can't log in with that account or it doesn't recognize you, then it's possible. Well, it should recognize you, but it might not be the same one as you use for the lead service site inventory. Hopefully it is. So we'll look up your account and we'll let you know what your email is for Safer, and hopefully it's the same one as Let Service Line that you've already created a WBKey account. And I am seeing your raised hand, DM. I'm prioritizing the Q&A right now, but if we do have time, we have 22 questions right now, so I'm prioritizing those. But if you do have a question, feel free to upvote an existing question that's there that kind of matches your question, or you can stay on. I can stay on a little after 12, not too much after, but a little after to kind of clear up some of these questions. Okay, Valen is asking about contact hours. I'm not doing any contact hours for this, unfortunately. I know that's an option offered for other webinars. One day I'll figure out how to provide that, but unless it's done by an RCAC or an external provider, I've had difficulties providing contact hours for operators. I think it's maybe a little easier to provide it for our LPA staff or REHS credits. I think that one's a little easier, but not at this time. My apologies. Okay, going back to top of my list. I'm not sure what the key is. Okay, I think that one's gonna hopefully be answered. CE hours, that one's answered live. Okay, answered live, done. And then Victoria's going to get her email in. Okay, question from Alan. I downloaded your URL and went through the process of getting a training account and it failed. Okay. So Alan, I don't have a whole lot of information going from that, but it seems like you're going to need something more hands-on. But I would like to know, if possible, Alan, if you could submit a Q&A on what portion of the process that you failed on, so we can collect that information and kind of see where you're stuck at. And maybe if I see your Q&A, I can go back to that. So as of now, I don't really know how to help on that. I don't know what failed. Did it fail to send you the email? Did it fail to register a password for you? Like, I just don't know where in that process it got stuck. And I don't know, Alan, if you even have a Safer Clearinghouse account already, or if you don't have an account, and which is what maybe that's why it failed. Maybe you have not generated a Safer Clearinghouse account. So, whatever the case may be, please let us know more details on where it failed. And I'll clear that one for now, but feel free to add in another Q&A. Okay, question from Anonymous. Can you remind me what we do if we get an error message after the new user request access registration? Okay, there's an error request. Um, there's an error request. I'm looking for the slide right now. And the error request says, I'll try to read it verbatim. Error. You do not have access to Safer Clearinghouse, or your account is still pending access. Please submit a ticket through the Safer Clearinghouse help request form for further assistance. So that's slide 18. If you just went through the new user request access registration, then you're going to be in a pending state. So until one of our staff, we have some of our staff going through it right now and potentially going through some of those pending accounts. So if Alex or Debbie see your account, they're going to verify that your email address and contact name matches those of our safer of our account database, our database of user contacts for water systems. And if it doesn't, it's got to go through a more extensive process where we have to email your district or email your LPA and get their approval, or email your administrative contact to make sure they have approved you to have access to the clearinghouse on behalf of that water system. And once that is done, then you'll be granted access. So it may not be right away, it may take a couple days, but either way, you'll either get an email from us when it's been approved, or you'll get an email saying, hey, you need additional approvals from other people in order to gain access. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. When will the EAR be using WBKey? Wendy, I'm glad you're on. Wendy is our EAR guru. She may be very familiar to you if you've ever done anything in the EAR, and I'm so glad to have her expertise. She's actually super instrumental in making this day go very well today. So, Wendy, do you want to answer that question for Linda?
Yeah, can you please repeat the question?
It's when will the EAR be using WBKey? And is there another
Um,
webinar for that? She's asking.
yes, so we are currently in the process of implementing WBKey for EAR portal, and that will be implemented with the next EAR publication. So that would be reporting year 2025 coming out February 1st, and we will be having many training sessions. I believe the week of release, but we haven't quite validated our training schedule for that implementation. So it will be coming. Keep your eyes and ears posted for emails coming out,
Yeah.
most likely around the first of the year.
Thanks, Wendy. Appreciate that. And I'm going to clear out some of these questions. Someone asked what the website is for tomorrow. It's the same one that we've always used. Some of you use drought.waterboards.ca.gov. That one's certainly easy to put down. But there's also WBAPP which doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but it is where the drought one sends you to. So whatever your current bookmark is, it's going to be the same address for tomorrow. So answering that question as well. Okay, we are nearing the end of our webinar. So before we end, I do want to move on to poll question number 5. Thank everybody for joining, and then also answer some questions after that. So please do stick around if you want your question to be answered. So we'll stick around for a little bit more. But poll question number 5 is a summary. So we just want to thank everybody for participating and spending that extra time to be out here. Because we're recording this, your feedback is going to be helpful for other people trying to log in as well. So as a final step, let's see where we're at, man. Success! I have created my WBKey account and I feel confident in continuing on. Almost there. I started the process, but I got stuck on a specific step, like a password, or maybe MFA didn't work, or maybe my security questions got stuck. Maybe it's a technical issue. Maybe like something didn't load, or something crashed, or ran into an error message, or a technical problem I couldn't solve. Maybe you created a new user account, so you don't quite know if it went through, but you created a new account. Now it's pending approval, and certainly we're going to try to go through those, but there might be a lot because there was tens of those people that were creating a new account for the very first time. So completing your registration, but waiting for your account to be approved. And finally, more training, please. I would find another similar webinar helpful in the future. We had over 400 attendees for this webinar. So it's very highly attended. There was a lot of people here, but I'm very satisfied to see 127 people have successfully created their accounts of the people that we have here. So, but also seeing that more training may be needed for those people that almost got there and just kind of need a little bit more help. And so we'll definitely be looking at these numbers to make sure that everybody gets the help that they need. And then the last slide is just, thanking everybody. We couldn't do this transition without the Drops team, our panelists out here, Elliot, Matt, Wendy for joining in, Alex and Debbie and Jonathan, Samantha. We couldn't do anything that we do without you guys answering tickets, going through all the help requests, helping me with my presentation. We appreciate it. Appreciate the IT team who are responsible for building the clearinghouse. Obviously, couldn't do it without them, but mostly grateful for all of you. You water systems who've been reporting to the clearinghouse since 2023 or maybe even sooner. We appreciate your feedback. You have driven the development of this platform like more than you realize. And all your feedback is invaluable. And we really appreciate everything that you guys do to make this platform better and better every single year. Hopefully, it just gets better and better over time. So that being said, I'm going to continue to do Q&A, but those of you who have had your questions answered and have successfully created your account can feel free to log off. Okay, going to continue with the Q&A as people can drop off as they need to. Do we need to, and who do we need to reach out if we need to remove a user account? Please do submit a help request form. Let us know what the email address of that user account is. We're going to do a double check and check to make sure that person's also been removed from our CIDWIS contacts. So we're going to reach out to the district staff or LPA staff to make sure they get removed from that contact so that they don't get re-added accidentally because they already have permissions there. So we'll remove them from both. So if you need to remove a user account, we'll make the changes in both places. Just simply email us and we will deactivate that user. Jennifer P says I can't reset my password. Here's where I think maybe a little bit of live demo may be useful. And I'm gonna just show it. And so I'm gonna take away your screen, Elliot, so that I can share my screen. Okay, and then I'm gonna stop sharing that one. Okay. Share it again. I think I did the wrong one. Okay, here you go. Okay, so this is the Safer Clearinghouse. Here's my login. If I am attempting to log in for the very first time, I'm going to put my email in here. It's going to say, what's your password? But I already know like my password wasn't 15 characters, didn't meet all those requirements. This is my very, very first time using WBKey. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on forgot your password. So here's where it's going to send a verification code to your email to authenticate your account. This is going to authenticate your email. So this is going to send an email to this account. So I'm actually going to see if I can bring it up so I can show you what it looks like. But again, you might have to check your spam. You might have to check any filters that you might have set up in order to find this email. So it's going to say, please verify your email address. It's going to be from do not reply at waterboards.ca.gov. It's going to say, it's going to be to your email. And it's going to say, Please verify your email address is going to have the WBKey logo. To finish updating your WBKey account with the State Water Resources Control Board, we need to make sure this email address belongs to you. To verify your email address, use this security code. Here's the security code. Copy and paste it, or have it in a separate window and type it in however you'd like. If you did not request this code, you can safely ignore this email. This is the email you need to find in order to verify your email. So anybody getting stuck at that step, that is the verification code that you initially need in order to go on to the next step. So that's that step right there. Verify. The next step, it's going to ask you for password criteria. So that's where it's going to have you put in your username, your password, confirm your password, and make sure it meets that criteria found in the article link there. So if you get past that first step, it should then ask you what your new password and confirm new password is. So hopefully that helps. Now I can't see the Q. Oh, I can see the Q&A now. Okay. I can't reset my password. Hopefully that helps, Jennifer. If you still have problems, you can feel free to reach out again. Question from Vivian. Waterboard's WBKey on the Authenticator app shows an old email address not associated with Safer Clearinghouse. Well, I need to set up a new WBKey account. Yes, Vivian. WBKey accounts require a unique email address. So every email address potentially could have its own separate authentication. That's not single sign-on, that's multiple sign-on. Vivian, I would recommend changing all of your WBKey to access using one email, because that is our intention, is to have one email assigned to one person so that we know exactly who you are, you know who you are, we know who you are, the server knows who you are. So if you want to put your other email address into the clearinghouse, then we'll have to update it in our contacts. But if you want to use your clearinghouse email address into lead service line or whatever other apps that you have, you'll have to contact those to make sure that they can get your new WBKey account that you're going to create through this process, that they can add that to those other platforms. We're not responsible for those other platforms. We're only doing the Safer Clearinghouse right now. So yes, yeah, the long and short of it is you may have to create a new account, but we don't want you to have to create multiple WBKey accounts. We want you just to have one. So just to let you know, that is our intention. Question from Gregory. I tried using my existing WBKey login, but got this message on the WBKey account sign in. Your WBKey account does not have access to this application. Return to the application and request access. Please submit a support request for any further assistance. I'm going to leave that one on there, Gregory, and one of our staff, hopefully maybe Elliot, since he's looking at that one, maybe he'll be able to look into your account and make sure he gives you the account that we have in our Safer database being registered to your name. So if you can find that email address, make sure you use that one to use your WBKey. If you use a separate email address that it doesn't recognize, it's going to send you through the whole request access thing, which is easy to do. If I cancel all of this, it's that other button right here. So it may be that you don't have a Safer account. I'm not sure, but we'll try to look up your account and see if it's there to be somewhat more helpful than just like, hey, do something. Now let's try to help you a little bit more than that. But here's the new user request access button that sends you to this user request account screen. So hopefully you don't have to do that if you already have an account. Question from, let me see if I can go back. Question from Anonymous. What happens when the person doing these reports moves away and another person comes in using the same company email? Well, my question to you, Anonymous, is what if that person doing the reports put it on his cell phone or stuck it to his personal phone number, or has his personal email on? Well, he has a company email, but what if his authentication method is linked to something that went with him? So we're going to have to like deactivate that account. You should probably create your own company email. Maybe it has your own, like your own name, anonymous at companyemail.com. If it has your own email, you can create your own WBKey, get access to it, and then you can request that we deactivate that other person. That's probably the safest way to do it. But if it's like a shared company email, if it's like watersystem.com type of email, then we'll have to like reset your authentication method to make sure only you have access to it. And certainly there's been things that happen where disgruntled employees can log in and put stuff in. You know, it doesn't happen often, but certainly can happen. And there are bad actors and, cyber terrorists that can do that sort of thing as well. So it's a good question. Definitely something we can handle. Okay. I used the training link and have updated my password, selected the MFA, and answered security questions. Once WBKey is live tomorrow on Safer Clearinghouse, will the same credentials work, or do I need to go through the process again because this is just a training? Monica, I hope we didn't waste your time. Uh, we have one WB key, but we have multiple versions of the clearinghouse. So even though you went through this on a training server, the WB key that you accessed was the official WB key. It's already live. And so you have expedited your login. So as of tomorrow, crossing my fingers because data and tech, um, everything will work seamlessly. And if not, you can feel free to reach out to us if there was any trouble with that. But that is the intention of this training is to set everybody up for tomorrow to give you guys live help as much as we can. Question from Jason. My training account said it failed, but I was able to log into training afterwards anyway. I don't know why it failed. One cool thing I didn't mention to anybody on the call, but we actually have a 1 hour timeout as of this version of the clearinghouse, which is really nice because we used to get that failed error sometimes when people got logged out. So I'm not sure what that failed is. You might want to put more, if you want to put more information, you certainly can in a future Q&A here or send it as a help request because I'd like to get more information on what failed, but seems like you logged in anyway, so maybe it's not super important. Hopefully it was just a tangential issue, maybe a temporary issue with the server. We did have hundreds of people trying to log in at the same time today. Question from Charlene. I am in the training WBKey and reset my password and created my security questions. Now what do I do? Do I need to get to the main WBKey and do this all over again? Well, hopefully, Charlene, if we answer your question, you don't have to do this all over again in your production, but there is you do have to go like it'll send you back to the original login right here. So let me show you how easy it is. I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna put my, so I've already created my WBKey account. I'm gonna put in my email address. In my case, I'm internal, so it didn't even ask me my password, but it would have asked me my password. Now it's gonna send, looks slightly different. It's gonna send me a code. I'm gonna put in my code. Looks slightly different again because we're internal users, but similar process. It's gonna send me quickly back to the login screen, then it's gonna shoot me right back into the portal. That's how simple it should be. It should be pretty seamless. People are not even going to know what WBKey is because it's so fast to log in, hopefully, and it just shoots you right in. So if that's not happening, there may be an issue, and we may need to handle those issues separately. Question from Anonymous. Hi, Eric. Is it possible to share a follow-up email with a link to set up the new login process as we are off today for a city holiday? A follow-up email. Well, Anonymous, if if today is a city holiday, which I believe is like California's like becoming a state day. I'm originally from Chicago, so I didn't have that date like memorized. So I didn't have that awareness of it. But if it's a holiday, then they won't be in until tomorrow. And tomorrow they can use the production, which I'll show you right now, is WBAPPSRV waterboards.ca.gov. So this is the website that they'll use. It's not going to look like this. It's look a little different sometime tomorrow. Probably by the afternoon, this will be up. And it's just going to be the regular clearinghouse login where they'll be able to create their WB key just like everyone else. And if you have any issues with that, please do let me know. And we will try to do a follow-up with some of the presentation materials, some of the links. We will not send the training link because my concern is that some people are going to use that for reporting and they're going to put real data into a training website, which is not what it's intended to do. And I don't want that. So I did this purposely a little manually so people wouldn't accidentally put it as their main. Okay, MFA entered verification error. Error. The verification code entered does not match the code from your authenticator app. I have tried it with different codes. It shows the space between the first three numbers and the last three numbers, and it doesn't allow the space on the web page. Yes, I agree. The space should not be required. However, the MFA should be linked between, if you only have one email and that email was there, then it should link. If not, I would recommend doing the reset authentication method. And again, for if you don't remember where to see that, I try to log in. I use a non-internal account. It's asking me for my password. Oops. And I would do a reset because honestly, we can't do any troubleshooting on the Authenticator app itself because it's very secure. It's obviously on your phone. So I'm not quite sure, but here you can, it's asking me to set an authentication method. But if you go to this screen and you've already gone through this, on the bottom, it's going to say reset my authentication method. And then it's going to have you verify your email address and reset your authentication method. Try that again, Wendy. So you say you tried to reset with the same results. How do I go back? So the same reset button it's gonna send you eventually back to this. Select a method to authenticate. So instead of the authenticator, maybe that's not working for you. I know it's working for a lot of people, but it may not be working for you for some reason. Maybe there's like some disconnect. Maybe you already use it at work for something else and it's looking at your other email. So I'm not sure why, Wendy, but you can certainly use one of the other methods. You can use email, you can use phone, you can enter a phone number. So you might want to use that and then maybe try again later and see if we can figure out some other time. Maybe when we do one of the login clinics, we're trying to do a login clinic, either us or also maybe the EAR is going to do a login clinic. And you can bring your specific questions. Say, hey, I want to do the Authenticator app because it's way simpler than the phone and the email method. I want to use that. Can you help me walk me through it? And I think we'll do a more hands-on approach for that one. It's kind of hard to troubleshoot. So, but thank you for being willing to try, Wendy. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, you can figure it out or try the phone or email method if that doesn't work for now. Thanks for that. Question. So Pamela saying I'm having an issue where it doesn't accept my authenticator code. Pamela, it sounds like a very similar issue. So my only suggestion is to try to go through, enter your username, enter your password, click on reset my multi-factor authentication and see if maybe you can try another alternative method until such time as we do like a full login clinic where we'll go one-on-one and have you guys, maybe share your screen or, go through this process with us so we can kind of help you out person to person. I think that'll be more effective for that. And sorry about that, Pamela, that it's not working for you. That's two people that have had that issue, so we'll have to keep an eye out why the Authenticator app might not be working. Victoria, is there a way to check my security questions? Great question, Victoria. Thank you for sticking on. So I'm going to go to the WBKey website. In fact, if you try to log into WBKey, I'm going to do the login button just to reiterate. There's a learn more about WBKey button. And there's a button here that says manage your WBKey account. Now, this is the Waterboard's WBKey website. So we don't manage this. This is something that they built. But again, it's a lot of support, a lot of stuff. Manage your WBKey account allows you to enter information about your WBKey account. So I'm going to authenticate again here. And I'm going to show you where you can see your security questions. It's not through the Safer account. We don't actually maintain your security questions. That would not be secure. But we do have them. We do have them in the profile here. I was told, but ask me where it is, and I may not know. Very good question. Let me see. Let me see. Security. Nope. Open support. Frequently asked questions. Let me see. Security. Let me see how many frequently asked questions we have about security. How do I change security questions and answers? Navigate to the management portal, sign in with your credentials. Once logged in, under the security section, click edit security questions, provide 3 questions and answers, click save. I didn't see that, so I'm gonna click on the video. Let's see. So click continue. Where is that part right there? Under security, edit security questions. Let's see, where did that come up? Let's see. Welcome test user. Okay. WBKey my account. I don't see my account here. See, maybe it shows up here. Yeah, this is my account. Hmm. You
I
know
don't see it
what?
either, Eric.
I think the deal is you can't see the security questions. You can only reset them, I believe, because we're not doing logins using WBKey. We're not managing them in WBKey. We're managing them in the Safer Clearinghouse. So good question. I don't think we have an ability because I'm not even sure how you reset the security questions. So I'm going to bring that back to our IT team and I'm going to see, I'm going to make a note here. Um, Note to DIT, some not being able to view their own security questions or reset them. I don't even know if you can reset them. How do they do this? We'll have an answer and hopefully we'll include it in the follow-up email that we'll send to everybody because that was a good question. That is all the Q&As that I have for today. We're 20 minutes over, but thank you guys all for attending. Appreciate you all for hanging on. And if we need to do another logging clinic in the future, we will let you know. Thanks all for your time.